here, you answer our questions, or you suffer the consequences.
Say it with your chest.
So I'm happy to engage. We'll come to here in just a second. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you traveling in, and I appreciate
I did
you.
it for my people, not for you.
Wonderful, and I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful. And it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. This is what this conversation is supposed to be about. Yeah. So,
James Tallarico and the Democrats have a problem, and it's a black people problem. And right now, they think that they can win this without the black vote. Black people are not necessarily liberals. They're more centrist. They're very conservative people. And right now, black people are having a moment where they want their issues addressed in this state. And they are willing to give their vote to a Republican. I know a lot of people think that's not a real thing, but it's a real thing. Tallarico is making the same mistake Beto O'Rourke did. He's betting on the white vote, the Hispanic vote, and the independent vote to get him over. But even if that's true, why wouldn't you want the black vote to make sure that you locked in? People are just asking to be heard. They're asking for their issues to be addressed. But one of the problems that politicians always have, they think that if they address black issues, white people won't vote for them. It's been a problem in this country for years. It's starting to come to a head.
What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Yes, James Tallarico has a major issue. For one, I'm not 100% in agreement with this brother where he says that, black folks are more conservative. That used to be the case, but more and more and more you're seeing, especially black women, be extremely liberal in their thinking, in the way that they live, in the things that they're advocating for. They're advocating for the alphabet community. They're advocating, for, the Decepticons. They're advocating for the pregnancy termination. I'm just saying, it is a real thing. It is a real thing. Now, he is right that you do have black folks that are looking for something. They're saying, what are you going to give me? Now, I'm for certain down there in Texas, they ain't gave that dude $1. I'm for certain that is the case. But they are looking for something for their vote. Now, I don't know what the issues are out there in Texas, and what those issues, I hadn't heard it. I was kind of scouring the internet trying to figure out, okay, what is it that, black Americans, highly melanated Americans in the state of Texas, what is it that they're looking for? I couldn't find anything. So if anybody knows, if there's a 3-point, 5-point, 10-point, bulletin statement of what these people are asking for, I'd like to see it. But the other thing is, a lot of Democrats, they believe, because it's happened so many times, that it doesn't matter. Black people will vote blue no matter who, at least a large majority of them in a lot of these, large liberal strongholds. Democrats believe that. Now, we know that is something that is changing in this country. I don't think it will be a 90% situation like that ever again, because there are so many of us that are and have moved away from the Democratic plantation, but you still have a lot of Democrats out there, those like James Tallarico, that believe that there are a lot of black folks that will just hold their nose and support this dude because they assume that Ken Paxton and the Republican Party is racist. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to start right here because people need to know exactly who James Tallarico is.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
God is non-binary. There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity. Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity. They're gonna call me a radical leftist.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
Low T Tallarico.
Hey, the ads write themselves. When the president says the Democrats have a weird candidate, yes, Lord, they do. Oh my goodness. How can anybody vote for this guy? Seriously. How can anybody vote for this guy? Someone who is talking about Decepticon children? Are you kidding me? Really? Are you telling me that there are black people in the state of Texas that are willing to vote for this weirdo? Seriously?
So I don't usually do this, but I'm doing this because I had the same sentiments as some of the other women or males, black males and women that were in the audience at the James Tallarico town hall. I just got back. He answered the questions, most of them. Like he said, he's not a perfect politician. I get that. Nobody's perfect because I'm not a perfect human being, but I strive to be a better person every day. But I will say this to James Tallarico's campaign staff: get him back in Harris County soon. I feel like he needs to be in Harris County almost once a week. And not only that, it needs to be put out there that he's actually here, because looking before, I thought this was his first time coming to Harris County, but no, it's not. But he didn't come to the part of Harris County that has most of the black demographic.
Because he assumed that he has y'all vote sold up.
So I will say, it wasn't until the one lady got irate. Well, I won't say irate, but she got passionate. And he finally answered the question of, how are you going to earn the black vote? Mind you, 2 other people had asked that question prior to, and he kind of moved around it. But when that lady got up and said, I've driven 45 minutes and I want my question answered, I understand. Definitely needed your question answered. All of us needed our questions answered. I think the platform could have been a lot better than what it was, because it was said from 2:30 to 4:30. He didn't come out to almost 3:30. There's a lot of questions. Harris County is big. If it was from 2:30 to 3:30, 2:30 to 4:30, all those other elected officials should have been speaking from 2:30 to maybe 2:45. And at 2:45, you need to be coming out, because there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of angst in Harris County for you as a candidate. So therefore, if you're trying to build the relationship you claim you're trying to build, it's going to come with more dialogue, more talking. And that's how we're going to get to a place where we feel like we can get to know you and we can possibly trust you. And that's all I'm going to say.
The problem is that people like James Tallarico, they don't respect Black Americans. They don't respect highly melanated Americans, because they know that you're going to hold your nose and vote blue. Now, here recently, there's just been a lot of people that just decided, I'm just not going to vote. I'm just not going to get involved, because, people are asking, what's in it for me? And you have a lot of people asking, like, hey, how are you going to earn the black vote? I think the better question, if I'm Tallarico, I would have asked, well, what exactly are you guys looking for? I haven't seen anything. I was researching. I was looking, like, what are folks looking for out there in Texas out of their politician? I don't know. Now, I know for me, as an American citizen, I know what I'm looking for. But as a collective out there in the state of Texas, what are those that would consider themselves highly melanated liberals or highly melanated Democrats? What are y'all looking for from this guy?
We in this room are locked in. We are having a conversation about how to do that. And sometimes it can get heated because we care, and this is important, and we can't screw this up. But we have the same goal. My sense is a lot of these trolls online don't have that goal. They're trying to push some agenda, they're trying to fulfill some need, but do that elsewhere, because we have work to do here in Texas. I know it was tense, I know that. But it was also something beautiful, because for the first time in 20 years, we had more Democrats voting in the primary than Republicans in the state. We had historic numbers of young people showing up in that primary, getting involved for the first time because they were inspired by our campaign, by the Congresswoman's campaign. Let's build on that. Don't listen to these trolls online, right? They are trying to distract us. They are trying to divide us. And some of them are funded by Republicans too, so be careful about that. So we have to keep our eye on the prize. We got to stay focused. And, also funded by some Democrats too. So, my point is, let's stay locked in, let's stay focused, let's finish the job that the Congresswoman and I started in March, and let's win this race in November.
Just more politicians speak. I don't know what he said, but he ain't say nothing.
The Democratic Party has a troubling history of taking black voters for granted. And I am committing to you to not make those mistakes. I am committed to working with the members of this caucus to show up for, invest in, and fight for the votes of every black Texan. Are y'all ready to beat Ken Paxton? Yeah! I am so grateful for this caucus and the work that y'all do every single day to defend LGBTQ plus Texans. We're gonna do something extraordinary. We are gonna end 30 years of one-party rule in this state. We can't do that work without each and every one of you. We can't win this state without winning Hispanic voters all over Texas.
Yeah, he's not saying anything. It's the same stuff. It's just politician speak. Just politician speak.
Home from the James Talarico town hall that happened here in Houston. This was a black town hall. There's one tomorrow in Dallas. If you're looking for the link, Morgan B. Talking has a link in her bio. You should absolutely show up, especially if you have questions or concerns. If you've been in our comments complaining about that man, go tell that man your complaints and concerns and have him answer for it, right? Also, too, in keeping with the purpose of this town hall to center Black voices, Black concerns, my comments will also be centering Black voices and Black concerns. So if you hop in these comments talking about, well, Black people need to, and I click on your Avi, you're getting blocked or embarrassed, whatever I feel like doing in the moment. So just keep that in mind. Y'all are too comfortable jumping in discussions about Black voters, and y'all have enough busy work with your own communities. Focus there, please. I do think the town hall, very similar to other events that he's had in the Houston area, was very high population of non-Black people, even though the campaign told us directly this event was to target Black people, was in a Black neighborhood at a Black church. Bet many of y'all didn't know that. Yes, it was at a Black church. So, but I think there may have been some miscommunication somewhere along the lines.
So you got a dude that is pro-alphabet community, pro-Decepticon children, pro-pregnancy termination, speaking to Black people in the Black church. These people they're unserious. And that's why Democrats don't take y'all seriously.
Or it could have been like, just an excited volunteer that saw the event was happening and shared it on their Facebook pages or what have you. People may not have known the purpose of the event when they got there. And that is fair. That happens. And so when I got there, I was like, okay, this is not a lot of us here, but okay. But we came a little bit later because, church. And people definitely came in with their church clothes on. So that was also part of it as well. Now what did help, there were 3 speakers at the start, 3 local Black electeds who are well liked. I love all 3 of them. And they were very clear about the tone, the purpose of this event, and set a tone of reconciliation, acknowledgement of anger and frustrations, and this idea of ask your questions, make demands of this candidate. He wants our vote, ask him questions. So that included Mayor Pro Tem Martha Kasich Tatum, who noted, we are still reeling from what happened with Kamala Harris, what happened with our Senate race here in Houston, here in Texas. And so I was glad that was acknowledged in that room. It's very important. Then we have State House Rep Lauren Ashley Simmons, who is just a really good rally person. She worked in organizing, so she's always good on stage in those moments. I feel like that she was very good at that as well. And I think both of them, they weren't in here trying to convince us to vote for Talarico. They were in there to work on this kind of idea of reconciliation. And that was important. That was the purpose of this town hall. Then we get to my congressman, Christian Menifee, who hopped on stage and said, "What up, Black folks?" And so people may have been like, and again, the town hall ad did not say Black town hall. And I'm assuming for a number of reasons. So people may not have known. Now, I did see people leave at some point who don't look like me. It had been a long day. They may have driven from the suburbs. And it was, the doors opened. People started lining up by 1:30. At 4:00, they were still taking questions.
Get to the point. Goodness gracious. What were the questions? Were there anything of substance asked? Or just another, victim splaining, complaining session?
So people may have been like, I'm out. The Democratic Party takes the Black voters for granted. Okay. But at some point, when you continue to make that statement, it reads as hollow if you can't tell me what you're doing to ensure that you aren't taking Black voters for granted. This was my question. I have heard this man say since last fall, I've heard him say this probably 5 times in person at this point, that the Democratic Party takes the Black voters for granted. Okay. But at some point, when you continue to make that statement, it reads as hollow if you can't tell me what you're doing to ensure that you aren't taking Black voters for granted. That was my question. I didn't get to ask it. And so my thing is, like, he kind of went through things they are doing, but I want Black voters to kind of hone in on this. When we say taking us for granted, what happens is they assume that Black voters are on board. They're going to vote for the Democratic candidate, and all they have to focus on is getting you out to vote. So when we say that, whereas white voters and Latino voters are getting this effort to get them to believe in this campaign well before GOTV efforts, which usually happen closer to November. And so that's all I'm like, okay, but what are you doing now? Are you just assuming that, okay, we're going to get over it and show up? Are you actively coming out here and listening to Black voters? And so he gave some answers to that. But that's my question. And I kind of like, okay, at some point you got to quit. You got to have some action behind that phrase. So he starts with that whole thing, walks through things they have done, things people didn't know, that he went to Prairie View, he went to Paul Quinn. I'm super online, so I knew all these different things, but people in the audience were like, okay, that's good to hear. One person said, you all need to do better about blasting these things out. I didn't know that. Another one said, you had an interview on a local radio station. I get 10 messages from you a day about giving money. He's like, and I've given money, but it'd be helpful to know that you're going to be on a radio station in my hometown. So I could, the same way that you text me about this event that's happened. So I can tune in and listen to that, which was fair. Okay. The questions. I get extreme secondhand embarrassment in an open forum when people get to ask questions, because I feel like people don't ever ask questions right. Here was good. I think people did. I was concerned we were going to have somebody get up there and be like, I just love you. You're the best. And that's okay. Like, if you love a candidate, that's fair. But the issue with that is that they were wasting time because
and politics ain't about love. Politics is not supposed to be a popularity contest. It's about the policies. And that's the problem with a lot of these people. It's so much about their feelings that they're not looking at this in a logical manner and saying, okay, we have this guy here. These are the questions that I have. This is what we're looking for. These are the things that we're asking for. Can you come through or not?
We need to get to people who don't love him, people who have concerns, people who are not convinced yet. We need to spend time on those folks. And so I think those people were centered in the space. And for the most part, everyone that asked the question was Black. Now, were others raising their hands? Yes. But the Black people was... and that's who got to ask the questions. We had questions about Black farmers, which I think is important when you consider where Black people are centered or concentrated in Texas. So Texas has the largest population of Black people, numbers wise, not percentage. And those folks are, I think it's about 4.5 to 5.5 million Black people in Texas completely, 1.5 million in the Dallas metro area, 1.5 million in the Houston metro area, and another big group of them in kind of these East Texas smaller towns, which would include Black farmers. So that was a question that was asked, which I thought was a good question. Somebody else asked about how are you reaching out to Black militants? Because there are plenty of people who are, got questions. Like, those are the ones that are harder to get to. How are you reaching out to that population? And then there was a person, I do know her, and I won't get into all that, but who was talking about just kind of annoyed with just the process that how this was set up and not feeling as though everyone got to ask their questions, which I think is fair. One of his campaign workers tried to hush her, and she's not Black. I said, baby, read the room. We will riot. Don't do that. Even if we don't agree with, like, perhaps just the how it went down, like, don't do that. And so he did. I don't want to say he answered the question. He acknowledged that and said, like, it's on me to hold me to account.
Sound like a waste of time to me. That's just me. I'm just listening to this. I mean, she's rambling, but it sounded like a waste of time. No real substantive questions that I'm hearing. Why not just get to the questions that were asked and the answers that was given? I don't understand this, but let's keep it moving.
The solution to Tallarico securing this win with no hard feelings, and for us to say no hard feelings, because in a little way I'm still pissed about Jasmine, but I also know her future is so bright. She is a 92% icon. I'm not too worried. Would we rather have a Democratic senator? Of course we would. The solution to that man cruising to victory is the Black community. It can't say that we aren't being clear and telling them what they need to do. And if they still stuck on stupid, what the fuck are we supposed to do about that? And what are we supposed to do about the fact about Texans and being Republicans, they small-minded. They don't know how to think liberally. They're racist. They're patriarchal-based. They're supremacist-based. They're oppressor-based. And they want to stay like that. They want to keep it like that. They like that man.
So conservatives don't know how to think liberal. Conservatives don't want liberals. They don't like liberal policies. The matriarchy is terrible. Of course, the patriarchy is where we want to be, and that's what we want running this nation.
In the White House, they like Ken Paxton.
Yeah. The preference is Ken Paxton, who seems to be more in line than John Cornyn was, who I think we all could say and assume is a rhino. Yes.
Because that's something to offend. The offense is through the inaction. The offense is through not engaging with Black voters the way he needs to, addressing our issues. And I know they must feel like in Texas, talking about any issues that have to do with race are going to be an anathema to and a put off to white people. Probably some Latin people. They have decided, based on the lack of engagement, the lack of reaching out, and what these podcasters, their influencers, leftist wing of Democratic online politics for some reason has felt as though the thing to do is to have this targeted campaign. It's not a whisper campaign, but it's definitely an online campaign to shame Black voters, to vilify and pillory Jasmine Crockett, and to be very up in arms about how come Black people and how come Jasmine Crockett isn't working her little ass off. They took away her district. She lost the primary, and now they want her to work. And Black people are like,
yeah, the 92% is something serious, but although that number is ticked down a lot, those folks that are continuing to support the Democrat Party, they are the party that is supporting the demise of America. And those of us on this side of things are saying, you know what? Y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to support what actually makes sense for the future of our nation. I want to hear what your thoughts are on this. Hey, for the life of me, I don't understand why anybody would support James Tallarico based off of the things that he believes in, the policies that he would like to implement. Those policies are crazy to me. When the president said that, hey, they got a weird one down there in Texas, he is not over-exaggerating. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.